that was like that was pretty much like kind of my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you got shows like The Tick. Um,
Yeah.
Tick was great. Tick was like was such a cool show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was such a
Honestly, how I think about the tick is like imagine maybe this is not like a good analogy, but like just kind of like the how do I describe it? The kind of flair and the awareness that like the Fairly Odd Parents had. That's kind of like where
mhm.
the tick was at. Like there's kind of this hokey, but like also like yeah, we're doing like the shtick and we're doing like all the campy stuff, and we are aware. We are very aware what this is, and yeah.
Right. So
I kind of wish like they had like a cartoonized version of Space Ghost, but there was like how Space Ghost Coast to Coast was, but in like serialized form, how they did the cartoon.
yeah,
Like almost do a Aqua Teen Hunger Force version of Space Ghost. I kind of wish they had that
I
versus just
mean,
like the talk
like,
shows.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, Coast to Coast was basically that.
Yeah, but
Um,
like I did like Coast to Coast, but I always kind of wanted is like, yo, what if they did this like in a longer form? Like, well, I don't know how long the like the episodes were, but overall, just like let's actually like do some like funny shenanigan antics, but like
hmm
with Space Ghost.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, he got like a new comic that came out. And I'm like, yo, I gotta check that out. I heard it was
yeah,
pretty good.
I saw. He's got some new stuff, man. It's been super interesting, man. Like, it's and I watched the because it's been a minute since I talked to you, so I watched this little
Oh yeah.
documentary or whatever where they were talking about you know the forgotten cartoons. You know what I'm saying? That Cartoon
Oh
Network's
yeah.
forgotten cartoons. One of them was Johnny Bravo. You know what I'm saying? Like because Johnny
And there's a
Bravo.
reason why it's kind of slightly kept that way.
Right, there is, but if you actually think about it, hey, what's up, Squiggles? But like, if you actually think about it, Johnny Bravo, because they broke it down, I was like, okay, I can understand how you could look at Johnny Bravo on one hand and be like, okay, such and such, he's problematic, this and this, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like, you also can look at it like he's proving that like being this type of person doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And then like on top of
Yeah.
that, he gets also into
He's
like
giving
a
the problem and the solution, like, in both hands.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And he actually gets into a lot of wacky adventures like outside of that. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes him really interesting as well too. You know what I'm saying? So um,
Yeah. I feel you on that. Because, like, look, looking back at all the stuff that, like, if you took, like, a time machine, took all the stuff back from the 90s and put them forth, like, here and now. I mean,
mhm.
obviously, there's, like, YouTube and people can just look that up. But it's like, if, like, you did it to where, okay, we're going to have, like, a blast from the past, like, just 90s straight like block of cartoons, the problematic cartoons on Adult Swim. Oh, but
Mhm.
guess what? We're gonna do it before 7 p.m. It's just gonna all be running through the day. You would have parents calling in left and right. If
Oh
you had
yeah.
like literally what was like on Rocko's Modern Life, you'd be like, okay, the first like 10 minutes of the show, which is basically almost done because there was like short episodes. That last 10 minutes of like that segments, man, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What did he just do?
Yeah,
What did he just
because
say?
if I remember right, like freaking either Rocco or like Mrs. Big Head was like a phone sex operator. So yeah, but like they kind of
Yeah.
skirted around it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
So it was one
I
of
think for
those.
me, what really bit the dust, and like I almost embarrassed to say this on live, but it's like basically there's a character called Really Really Big Man, and this is back in the '90s where like Nickelodeon was very comfortable with like snot, slime, and even like not nudity, but certain parts of the body where it's like literally this character, he's basically a Superman, Duffman, like kind of mashup, like whatever, and he's a nice guy, but he's weird. He's weird looking, and he's big and buff, but he
Yeah,
literally has like these star patches on his like nipple areas, and when he takes them off, he shoots his nipples into people's eyes for them to see the future, whether it was good
yeah,
or bad. And I was
yeah.
like, gosh, like
Yeah.
you would literally have kids criticizing our shop, like
Oh yeah, it
Gen
would
Z
be
already
crazy.
criticizes. It's like, what were you guys on? I mean, it's
Yeah,
like we didn't make it, but y'all literally are reminiscent about this.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And also, you got to think about a lot of Ren and Stimpy and stuff. Squiggles,
They are
basically,
the biggest offenders.
yeah, Squiggles, basically, I hadn't been streaming in a while just because, like, it's been a couple of things. One, we've been, like, basically, I've been doing cons, Charles has been doing cons, and so, like, the Friday nights have, the Friday nights have not been, like, conducive. I know he can't do Friday nights pretty much. But, like, yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. Like, it's just been a lot of busyness as far as like getting stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been trying to focus on getting a lot of stuff done for this upcoming issue of our comic, and basically trying to square away a lot of stuff, which we are almost done. Oh my God, it's crazy. Um, so I'm very excited about that, and like if you look and see, he's got Charles is actually like working on, what page is that, Charles?
This is page 16.
Okay, so he's working on like page 16. Like, so we still got we kind of plugging away at this one right now, and you know basically just doing what we can to like get this stuff done. But like that's kind of where I've been at, man. I've been on like super grind mode right now. So you know, but that's kind of been my focus. So yeah, I've been wanting to stream, and I've been thinking like, man, I got to stream something. You know what I'm saying? Because outside of this, I've been playing like Final Fantasy VII remake, and like I just beat that like a couple days ago. So and I don't know, man. Like my honest review of that game is like it's it's a fantastic game, but like there's a point where there's like too much game. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, for it not to be like DLC or anything like that, it's just like, wow, this is a lot. This is a whole lot. Like, how do you even parse this? You know what I'm saying? Because your first playthrough was like 100 hours. Um, yeah. So basically, in right now, what I'm playing is XCOM. You know what I'm saying? Just because I wanted to play a game where I had you know, I basically can kind of talk and not worry about the stuff too much. But yeah, like yeah, XCOM is like a little tactical shooter game. So, but no, like as far as the pages go in the book, it's 25 pages. So hopefully, like if everything goes right in the next like couple of weeks, we'll have like all the pages pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be excited about that. And yeah, it's just been a big thing. Yeah, I know. I know. I forgot to change the title of the stuff. So yeah, I forgot like because I just hit go live instead of changing. Hey, it's XCOM 2, not Street Fighter 6. So yeah, but yeah, man, that's pretty much what's up, man. So uh, let's see here. Anyway, Charles, man, what's going on in your area, man? Tell me how because we hadn't really talked in a minute. Tell me how because we didn't talk about like
C2E2. I'm assuming
C2E2
you're.
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. C2E2 was good for the most part. I will say up front, like, I'm just gonna leave that. It was good, but I was a little frustrated with like the placement of like where I was at,
Mhm.
and it's something that I'm just learning. Is like, hey, uh, I'm grateful to be at the show if I get accepted for next year, which I hopefully do, and I feel confident I will, but it's not a guarantee. But if I do, I just want to like bring it up to like the people who run the show. It's like, hey, is it possible that I can be seated in another area, because I was sitting in like the dead back end, and like it's already a grind for like people to come back to Artist Alley after already being like swamped and inundated by all the booths and other vendors and big companies that are like right at the front entrance. And again, I can't begrudge them because I understand that the reason why they're up there is because they pay the prices to be up there. They're paying like upwards of like $10,000 for like premium spots for those weekends versus just like paying like $400 for our tables.
Right.
Regardless, like if you can imagine like just a very back end aisle of like a convenience store, it's like nobody's thinking about going all the way back there unless there's something very specific back there that they were looking for. And I just felt like that really hurt my traffic sales. But overall, I still had a great time, and I made a decent amount. I made my table back, but that was yeah, that was where my criticism lies with that. But overall, it was still a great show.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, and
So,
obviously good enough to like want to go back for next year,
oh yeah, yeah.
opposed to like a show like Awesome Con, which I will not be going back to next year and probably for the foreseeable future, unless I get invited. But we'll see.
Right. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I kind of feel that way about Indie PopCon because Indie PopCon was very much on that level where I was just like, oh snap, I went there and it was just pretty much a slog. It was like GalaxyCon,
Mm-hmm.
um, so it was like kind of like GalaxyCon, and
Oh, that's right. You did go to GalaxyCon.
yeah, and
Was that
so
your first time in there, or did you
yeah,
previously have
it
you
was
been
my
there?
first time at GalaxyCon, but you know, basically it was just one of those things where Indie PopCon was very much like we kind of fended for ourselves. We didn't we didn't have enough stuff.
Yeah.
Isla Ave, like I have been streaming off and on for a while, a long while, but like I'm not consistent with it. So, um, but yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. And yes, as you can see, I'm not playing Street Fighter. I'm playing this game called XCOM. But yeah, no, like it's kind of been a thing. Hey, Cameron, sorry I didn't see you there. I was looking at my other chat and stuff. But no, like basically like Indie PopCon was just one of those things where when I was like I was there and like we just didn't have like the traffic was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother was there and he did okay. But he's selling like jewelry and stuff like that. So
Okay,
he
but
got a different thing that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Um, but for us, like, we just we didn't I feel like I did like we did what we could. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, if I could go back, or if I could like get another oh man, they gonna pop me. Boom boom miss. But if I could like really think about how we would do it again, I don't know, man. Like Indie PopCon was just kind of a weird thing. I just felt like the demo wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And like the
Yeah.
money I made was like I was like, this is something. It's a thing. Like I made back the table, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It was just like I don't know. But I will say this, like I'm now like pretty much getting in a position with you know, freaking the stuff for BlurredCon and DreamCon. Like I'm getting in a position with that stuff to
Yeah.
where
I wish
I'm
I was. I wish I got into DreamCon.
man, I
It'd
wish
be
you
nice.
did too. Like, cause like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I just got the news that Christina's gonna be there, and so cause she's like was invited to do a panel. So
Oh wow,
yeah.
nice.
Oh snap! Like, hold up. My like one of somebody on Instagram, like Cameron, this cat Cameron, he bought the books from us for me like at Springfield Toy and Comic Con, I think. I remember him. But he apparently made like Shannon and Zakaya on WWE 2K22. That's so
Oh
awesome, man.
nice.
I gotta see that. I gotta see that. Like, cause I haven't played a 2K game in a minute, a 2K wrestling game in a minute, and like, I'm curious as to how that damn, I'm curious as to how that like came out and how that looks. So, you know, I'm always super hype about that stuff and super hype that people check out like they take things onto to make like new characters or make our characters and like different stuff. So I'm very hyped for that. I'm very like excited about that. So yeah, that's freaking cool. So
Nice.
I don't know. That was a side note. Damn, they're just jumping my my guy over here. So, but but yeah, man, like I don't know, I'm super excited about DreamCon and BlurCon. You know what I'm saying? So those are like the big ones, and then I got Anime Ohio that's gonna be happening very soon. So you know, let's see the reload. Uh, let's see. Boom. Perfect. Yeah. Oh man, like we got, like I said, Cameron, we got issue 6 coming, and issue 6 is gonna be super fun. And I will tell you in a little bit of a weird, kind of not weird spoiler alert. Zakaya isn't in issue 6. However, she'll be in issue 7 and like on, and we got some stuff planned for her like for later. So, but yeah, yeah, it's definitely going down. Let's see.
The way you made that sounds almost like a tease. It's like, hey, just to let you know, she's not gonna be in there, but don't worry. He's like, oh, well,
I
why you
mean,
telling me
she
just?
like no,
I know.
because
I'm just saying, like, because you know this obviously that like everybody loves her, so it's like you might as well not even say that. It's like
yeah, no,
you
but you
fine.
know what I'm saying. Like that don't mean you need to miss issue 6 because issue 6 still like
Oh no,
sets up
absolutely, yeah.
very pivotal moments. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, have
So
you been getting like feedback? It's like, oh man, it'd be nice if she was in more stuff, and then it's like,
oh
oh, she's
yeah,
not in it. Miss.
yeah, no, people don't
That
do
would
that.
suck.
No, people don't do that. But um, there is a contingent fan base for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm very excited to like pretty much kind of like get everybody on board with her. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, yeah. Oh snap! I don't know. Cameron, if you still here, what is Zakaya or Shannon's finisher on 2K22? I'm curious as what you made it for them. Um, so, da da da. Got it. Yes. All right. Oh, they gonna do the undead thing? Yeah. But oh, you still working on it? He said he's still working on it. So
Bet.
that'll be cool. So yeah. But yeah, man, like I don't know. I'm super excited about this stuff though. These next couple issues of Scrap, obviously, and then like, oh man, okay, cool. But these next couple issues of Scrap, I'm really excited about, and just a couple other things that we just trying to get done. I got some new merch that's on the way. You know what I'm saying? That like I can't wait to show people. So that's yeah. Hey, that's cool. One thing I would suggest. I'm pretty sure because if it's still in because like I said, I haven't played 2K. I think I had 2K22. I can't remember if I did or not. I know I had one of the 2K games, but I know Hell's Gate is a jujitsu move, and so that's a go-go plata. So like Undertaker had a move called Hell's Gate, and like that was a that was one of the moves I loved when he like started doing that on people. So maybe that's an idea. You know what I'm saying? You give that to one of them. Because that was like a really cool little move. So I don't know. Cameron's like, I'm familiar with what you speak of. Yes, that's so awesome. Because I love that move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I was watching when Undertaker did that on, like, Brock Lesnar, like, years ago. I was like, holy crap, what is this? And then I looked it up. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a modified Gogo Plata. I was like, oh, yeah, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So, that was cool. All right, let me move you right here. Heck yeah. So I don't know, but
It's
yeah. Man, my guys are getting lit up. Luckily, they have like a ridiculous amount of health. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah. Do, 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 do. Oh, okay. So now that we got all the pleasantries out the way, um, have you watched all of X Men '97?
yes, sir.
Oh man, yeah. It is absolutely such a flawless show. Um, like I had well I'm gonna say this, I do have notes on it, but it's the same notes that everybody else has on it, and the fact that the show is pretty much a speed run of like a lot of arcs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I'll just say this, and this is something that I almost feel like a lot of people would jump down my throat for saying, since I, one, was not an X-Men reader when I was growing up. I didn't read a lot of comics in general, but it's like, especially when it came to X-Men, I missed a lot of stuff. A lot of the classic stuff, a lot of like the Intel classic Claremont stuff. I didn't, because like, I mean, there's a whole story behind that, but it's like, I wasn't, as inundated with like going to the comic book shop. Like that whole thing didn't even hit me until I got to high school. But anyway, with that said, there are things that I've like heard from people who've like obviously like read a lot of that stuff. And it's like some of it, maybe a good majority of it, was actually good to have like in these shorter bits because, for instance, like Fatal Attractions. From what I hear, that story kind of is all right. The only cool part about it is obviously the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Wolverine getting his like metal ripped out of his body.
Some
That's
people.
it. That's literally it. So it's
Yeah.
like for some people, it's like, yeah, well, what would you need to expand on? That
Well,
story
I
is
I think a lot of people their thing was, and this is my thing too, was you know all of this leads into getting like onslaught. You know what I'm saying? Which
yeah,
a lot of
which
people a lot of
Onslaught
people
is
are
definitely a toy
yeah.
in
So
regards to like this is like we are pushing a toy,
yeah,
and that's fine.
like
But
onslaught has it's a mixed reaction of how people like feel about onslaught, because some people feel like, and this is just what the consensus that I've seen online is, some people feel like onslaught is he's very much just he like you said, he's very much just a toy, um and he's like, for all of how cool he looks, like there's not much else to him, you
he
know.
is a '90s like guitar riff like
Yeah.
look how cool he's a Todd McFarlane like steroid up like concept.
Right. And so yeah, and Cameron, yeah, like Onslaught was in my opinion, like I knew him from the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and I thought he was like cool, and then I read the story on him, I was like, "Oh, snap, this is kind of dope." You know what I'm saying?
I mean, his
Um
inception, yeah, is actually I like the concept. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
like just the trauma of like Magneto and Charles like bonded together to create this like character that sides with evil anyway. It's a cool concept.
Right.
Going from there, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kind of
I
like
think
my
I
dude Spawn Todd, like with
yeah, I think
Mike.
the thing that could have happened if they would have did it right, or you could still mess around with this a little bit. Um, you know, just the idea of having Onslaught be a character that's how do I want to say it? Onslaught you can still fix the story. You can take liberties with the character, and you can still fix the story, and like be like, okay, this is where they did this, And this is where adaptations like can shine because you can be like, hey, this adaptation, uh, you know, it fixed this issue or that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to remember there are certain stories that have been adapted where it's like the actual one-to-one comic kind of trash. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but then there are other stories where it's like, yeah, we would have rather had the adaptation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's me for Civil War, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but there's other, like I said, it just varies, mileage varies. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but overall, I enjoyed it. And again, going back to my lack of X-Men participation, when it was happening at Ground Zero, I personally, as much as I love T'Challa and Storm, listen, I like the Forge and Storm ship. I know it was in the comics as well. There are people who were back and forth about it. Some who were saying like, yeah, no, it's dope, but then also like the diehard T'Challa is out there. I get it. Recast T'Challa, like, dude, what y'all doing? Further character assassin. I mean, come on, let's even talk about the fact that like it was King T'Chaka in in that version of like the animated Marvel
mm-hmm.
versus T'Challa. It's like, where's T'Challa? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So,
So yeah, like I said, I don't know. Me personally, I'm like I'm cool with the T'Challa. I'm cool with like or T'Chaka them doing that because like I said,
yeah.
it's not a guarantee that they have to do T'Challa and all of that. You know what I mean? So it's not a guarantee that they have to do it. And on top of that, you got so much other stuff that you doing right now or that is going on right now within the story that like it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like that's just my own personal opinion of it.
So how do you feel? Like, do you care like if they like where they're just like whether it's insidiously done or just like no, we're just gonna do it right in front of your face. We don't care. Like just like get rid of T'Challa. How do you feel about that?
what do you mean get rid of him? Like
Like, listen, I mean, just think about like what they've been doing in the comics. Like, all of his runs have been canceled. Like, right now, there's not a current ongoing Black Panther title that's going on.
mm-hmm.
The fact that they've gone out their way to, uh, this upcoming, or I think if for, forget if it's actually still going on or still playing, but like uh, the Wakanda animated series is supposed to go on. It focuses on Wakanda,
Yeah.
and then the idea of like
It's a Dora Milaje.
not necessarily like T'Challa being the center, but it's just like, oh yeah, all the other Black Panthers. T'Challa's not the only Black Panther, obviously, but it's sort of like they're trying to focus on that and kind of take that shine away. And then on top of yes, I know it was a story, but just on top of the fact that this new Captain America and Black Panther game is about to come out, and obviously it's featured like a non T'Challa character. It's obviously set in like was it set in was it 1602 or something like that?
No, it's
But
World War II.
World War II. Okay, yeah, my
Yeah.
bad. But the point is just these subtle hints, and again, this could be like tinfoil conspiracy, but it's like these subtle things of like Disney saying, look, we're trying to get rid of T'Challa. Bozeman died, and this is our way of just like kind of
I think their
slowly
whole
exiting the character out of like
for
relevance.
for right now, I would say that they're doing that um, mainly because they still feel like Bozeman is attached to the character. You know what I'm saying? So they
It
can
doesn't make sense in like the other forms, like
but no no
especially with
no
this like
no hear me
97.
out though. Hear me out though. So I think that they're kind of looking at it like okay, Bozeman is still attached to the character. And that's what most people are going to think about with T'Challa. So, um, they can once they do their Secret Wars reset, you know what I'm saying? Then they'll be like, okay, let's do another T'Challa and like let's let's start fresh. I guarantee you that's what they're looking at. That's how they're going to
Okay,
look at doing it.
let's see that play out. Let's see how it
Yeah,
play
because
out.
because it's either that or they're gonna do the time jump and that kid that's T'Challa, he's gonna be
Hmm.
like grown up T'Challa because of some
Which is
time.
basically gonna say it's like, oh, okay, cool, his son, but not T'Challa. T'Challa James. Just
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
trying to pull the wool over our eyes. It's
yeah.
probably gonna be the biggest fandom, like kickback, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Hey, what up, guys? What's going on, Evan? Man, I appreciate you stopping by with the Raider. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Um, but yeah, like I think that's what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, like I said, in my opinion, I think that's probably the safer way to slide in and do that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know.
A lot of people, and I'm not saying that I'm necessarily one of them, but a lot of people have argued, it's like, Fred, wouldn't have to do that if they recast T'Challa.
But yeah, yeah, you're saying like I
All
get
these
that.
unnecessary hoops,
Yeah, I get
all
it.
these unnecessary, like, contortionist
I get it.
loopholes and
But
there's people even
they've
like
already
again
I
criticizing
my
the
thing is
fact that like, okay, why are we getting a Fantastic Four, which we technically still don't 1,000% know this is exactly what it is, but because speculation and based off of pictures, which that doesn't always mean everything, but the idea
mhm.
that the Fantastic Four in a different dimension, different universe, and it's like, oh, okay, well, why are we like jumping through hoops just to introduce a Fantastic Four that are already in another universe just to bring them in ours, just starting off of that off rip, like what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I think like and even the Fantastic Four again, that's alternate timeline Fantastic Four. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's kind of what that is now. You know, is they're like, oh, we're gonna do alternate timeline Fantastic Four because reasons. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then yeah, and the question is like, if there's an alternate timeline, are you saying that there's a Fantastic Four? I mean, we've already saw obviously John Krasinski as like a Reed in like whatever universe that was, Doctor Multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is like, okay, so does that mean that our whatever universe Peter Parker's from in the 616 whatever movie universe that is, like, did we have a Fantastic Four?
Right.
Did we ever have a Fantastic Four?
No,
Did they
like
exist? If they did, where are they? What happened?
no,
Like, there's all these questions that
because
like
that's the thing. Like
we're gonna ask.
Fantastic Four did not exist in the 616. Because if you think about it, if you think like let's go back to what's the name No Way Home. You know what I'm saying? When Spider Man, like when Tom Holland's talking about, hey man, I fought with the Avengers, and then both Toby and Andrew Garfield are like, what are the Avengers? You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
there's that whole thing. So it's like it's reason to
But they're
believe.
from a different universe.
Yeah,
They didn't
exactly.
even have FF in theirs.
Yeah. So, you know, that's definitely how you can be like, okay, this is how we explain like these characters not being these characters not being like in certain universes.
Yeah.
You know.
So what's interesting is I was listening to podcasts and they were talking about like, oh yeah, top like 10 characters that could possibly show up in Deadpool, whatever. And I've heard things such as like Blaze Mahershala or Mahershala Ali's Blade. It's like, boo, I don't want him in like a Deadpool movie. Just give me him proper, and I'll see him in Secret Wars. I'm fine with that. But and then things like such as like the original FF, like Jessica Alba and you know Chris. Whatever, like making a little cameo, joke, haha, type of thing. So that's been an interesting thing to like kind of think about.
Mhm.
Whether they'll like do it or not, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a fun little thing that they'll probably end up doing. I thought they were gonna do like, especially with the Fox universe, they'll probably mine a lot of stuff from the Fox universe. You know what I'm saying? So that would be a thing that they would that you could definitely do. I mean, I thought they were gonna do something with Ben Affleck being Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
because they want to definitely push Daredevil as much as they possibly can. And so that's kind of been a thing. Ugh.
Yeah, so we'll see where they'll go.
Yeah. But nah, getting back to X Men '97 though, man, like there's so many good things about like you know that show that I was just blown away by. Obviously, like the Gambit episode, remember it? You know what I'm saying?
You
That
know what
was
that made me think about as like the title like just kept being drilled in your head. You know what it made me think about?
what's up?
Naruto.
Yeah, believe it.
It's like,
Even though in
like
I think
I can't unsee that, and I feel like there's definitely somebody who's on the team who's like, yo, Gambit, like he just won't give up, man. Let's get a Naruto reference in there.
Right.
Because like all the animators, all the writers, all the producers, like actually, guys, I think even Bo, I'm not sure how old he is, like even though he's not on the
Bo is
project, but
like,
like
I think he's like our age. He's around our
okay, that's
age.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like people our age are working on this stuff. The people
Mhm.
who grew up with the stuff are working on it, which makes me happy. But also
Mhm.
like I feel insecure. It's like man, I want to be working on stuff like this like
Right.
now. But yeah,
Yeah, like I mean I feel the same way where I'm just like, damn, I just wish, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely one of those things I personally think about, like where I'm like, man, just if only.
if only. But yeah, we're in a good space. Like a lot of like good things are coming out of this era that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that like our generation gets the helmet,
Yeah.
it's you know
Yeah,
it's pretty
definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, because there's so much. Like, again, there's just so much good stuff. Like, and I know somebody had hit up James Gunn, was like, "Oh, you think you could do a Justice
I
League
don't
'08?" It's
care.
like, and
Yeah.
James Gunn was like, "No, man, I'm not doing that. Like, why would I? Why would I want to do that? You
You
already
know what
got
would be funny if like he actually did it, but it's like he's like, yeah, I had to throw you guys all the sin. I'm not gonna give you everything up front, but he's not.
right."
I can guarantee he's not, and it's whatever.
Well, the
I
other
mean, for me, I actually just kind of lament that mainly because like one, well, the biggest reason why I kind of wouldn't want it is because even though you still have like Bruce Tim with us, and he's obviously focusing on like his like new Batman thing, which by the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm interested to see it, but I'm not digging most of the character designs. I'm just not. But regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing like how much return to form this will be.
hmm
But when it comes to like the Justice League stuff, the fact that we don't have Dwayne with us anymore, like that
right.
that is a big gaping hole.
hmm
Like if you were to bring back like that team,
Yeah, like I mean, because he was a phenomenal writer, he was a phenomenal creator, and he was a large part of why Justice League Unlimited was as good as it was. You know what I'm
and the
saying?
fact that he already wrote some of the Justice League comics too, I think that just like really dovetailed into the
Yeah,
work he did on that.
yeah, definitely. So, like I said, it's one of those things where I'm like, damn, I wish, I do wish he was, still with us to do some stuff, man, because he was incredible. You know.
Did I ever tell you that I met him once in Minnesota and like didn't even realize it was him?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like at that time, like what, like I mean, obviously, like I was, a young adult, like because like I was out of college, but I just remembered, yeah, like not like being into like I mean, this is obviously before like I started like getting serious about if I'm like gonna get in this industry, I need to like know what people look like. It's like I had no interest in like I don't need to know what you look like. I just like your work.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously find out that like yeah, like that goes into as far as networking too. But anyway, I had no idea what he looked like. But when I like saw like all like the Justice League, he had like a bunch of like posters and issues of different things. Like, oh, you're artists and writers. Oh, okay, it's like yeah, I wrote Static. He's like, wait, you wrote? Wait, you're? It literally dawned on me. And you just can see he's like yeah, 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 kind of on his face. And I was like oh, and I remember like too. I think I showed him some work. I don't know if it was like a full portfolio. And he gave me some reviews. He basically said I need to work on a lot of things, but and I appreciate it. But at the time, like it just kind of just dawned on me, wow, like that would have been great to say that like I met Dwayne in person, and like there's plenty of other people who've been to conventions and probably met him as well. But just to kind of like have him in that position, the fact that he was even at a table, because thinking about like some of like the big shots that like are in the industry, it's like to see them at tables and have access to them with not having like a mile long line like around the convention center for
Right.
like trying to get autographs and all that stuff. Like that's a rarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever Jorge Jimenez is at like a show is like it's just evident, and he's a cool dude. He's definitely like a guy that you could actually like approach, but you're gonna be standing in a line and paying for autographs. It's that big of a deal for him.
Yeah.
Both Chip and him were sitting next to each other, both in New York and Chicago. So they are riding the you know that dream team steam, like
Oh,
Kobe and Shaq, man. They're the dynamic duo when it comes to what's going on in Batman. So
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's uh that's still dope though, man. So I don't know, but like I said, I'm just I like I said, when he said when people were talking about that, I was like, man, let him do what he gonna do, because like we still don't know how like Superman's gonna turn out. I mean, obviously, it's I think it's in good hands. Plus,
Yeah.
James Gunn really likes ensemble cast, so I guess because of the whole Guardians thing and all that, so he really
Yeah.
works well with like multiple characters like doing multiple
Multiple
things.
characters, but like it's gonna be like interesting to see like again since this as like a reboot in like the first start. Again, is you're thinking he's gonna duck, but he's diving, and you kind of almost want him to do this, but he's gonna do that, and we'll see. Because the fact that he's putting in like a good, like honestly, for me, I'm actually at this point, obviously, where I'm just annoyed. I don't want to hear any more cast news. This is obviously for, to get more fans who are not already invested, if they should already be. That
Right.
it's for them, and it's also for like the uh investors. Like it's like, okay, you got this coming down the pipeline, you got this, like it's all for them. It's PR, publicity, marketing, and I get that.
Hmm.
But for me, it's annoying. I just want to see it. Because honestly, could you imagine watching a movie today where it's like, oh, Hawkgirl's in this movie? Wait, Mr. Terrific's here? Oh,
Right.
they got Guy Gardner?
Yeah, because
It's Nathan
at some
Fillion?
point,
Oh my
at some
goodness!
point, you
Like
kind of gotta kind of turn your brain off to like all the news. You know what I'm
social
saying?
media,
Yeah, you really
good
gotta
luck.
turn your brain off on it, man. Because like that's kind of what I stopped doing
I
with
mean, it's
like.
not a brain issue. It's a just unplug all your stuff issue. If that's the
Right, it
case,
really
because
is.
it's
Like
everywhere. Like even X Men. Like I got something like for the last episode like slightly spoiled, even though it wasn't a big thing. It
hmm
didn't really matter, but I was still like, I like when it like uber super, you know, bleach all over like the floor countertops getting clean type of clean. Like I literally want to know nothing. And
Yeah,
we live in a society where it's like people, again, a lot of trolls just thrive on. It's like, oh, I got some inside information. Let me
yeah.
put that all over the world. Like this is me literally like taking a dump on people's face, and it's fun, and I love it. And it's like, man, if only the beekeeper existed in real life, man.
Right, right. It is kind of a rough thing,
If you are hungry, there's
So,
more where
but it
man.
is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. So I don't
impressive
know.
reflexes.
Oh, let me tell you something else that happened at what's his face Indie PopCon, and I'm gonna just be completely blunt with it. Uh, we ran into this guy, and this guy, I guess he runs a how do you want to say it? Like he runs this online school where like he teaches people how to make comics. You know what I'm saying? And apparently he's like somebody, or he was a somebody in the business as a black dude. He was a somebody in the business in the comic industry or whatever, like long ago, back in the '90s. And apparently, like
Yeah.
he used to, him and Dwayne McDuffie used to go back and forth on the message boards or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he came through and he was just kind of like he saw the book. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna support it," this and this. But then he tried to
You
give
talking
like,
about scrap, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
he saw books like, oh, I'm gonna support it, this and this, but he just went on this whole diatribe. I had he was asking me about you, and he was like, oh, well, I was like, yo, he was in the milestone program, and then he kind of like turned his nose up at it and was just all like, man, they just trot them out there for this and this and this, and then they throw him a bone, but they'll never really do nothing afterwards. Like it's just and he just went on this whole thing about like they really just like they just really like get a couple of books out of them and then like throw them to the wolves or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like I was just kind of like miffed by it, like, all right, man, whatever, dude. Like, and he just had like this whole bitter vibe. Then later on, like he read the book. Like I talked to him like a day later because he had a booth there. My
Mm-hmm.
guy talked to him a day later or something like that, and dude was like, because he only read the first issue. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He liked obviously the cover art. He was like, yeah, the cover art's dope. This, and this. But then he got to like the actual like pages inside. It's like, yeah, well, it was this, and this, and these are the problems with it. It's like all the problems that you're telling me, I already knew. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Wait, is he talking about the
he talking
issue
about
that I worked on, Or
Yeah,
the
you talking about the
first?
people? No, the books that like issue one, like
Oh, okay.
the interiors. I'm like, you telling me
Yeah.
problems that I already know, like you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, cool, whatever, man. Like, that's nothing. And he just was awesome on some old like, well, I feel like I wasted my money because it's this and this and blah blah. Like, you mother, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it was just
Wow.
like a
The
lot.
fact that he came back to say that, wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was like, man, it's just, dude had like that bitter, that real bitter, like, you ever meet somebody that's like, okay, you know, they want to claim that they helping, but like, every time like they talk is like, they energy is coming from a real bitter place, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he was that guy, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh man, I'm not here for this, you know what I'm saying? And so,
Hmm.
it was just, dude was just like, he was just on some other stuff, and he was like, well, if you was to do it right, this is how you do it, and you do blah 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 blah, and this is why y'all need to da 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 da, and it was just a whole diatribe of just like bro, like you salty, like whatever happened to you in the business, like that's what happened to you, you know what I'm saying? But like, cause he was all like, man, well, I could at any point I could go and make a call and I could have a book tomorrow. I could be working on something tomorrow. Like, okay,
Okay.
cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what that got to do with me? You know what I'm saying? And he was just on some weird stuff, man. It was just like, I don't know. It was just a really strange thing, and it was like, but then again, like I was telling another friend of mine about that situation, and she was just like, yeah, he can have his opinion or whatever, but you also got to remember, like, the book's not for him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, because he didn't really say much about the story, he was all talking about like technical stuff, like the art and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Wait,
well,
was this guy past artist?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, which
So,
I get. I mean, yeah.
you know, but like, I was just like, all right, cool, whatever. But like, it was just the way dude came. I was just like, man, this ain't it, chief. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, I just kind of like, I kind of like had to just kind of be like, all right, man, you gonna do what you gonna do. You gonna say what you gonna say, man, and that's that. I ain't tripping. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like my friend was just like, she was like, yeah, man, don't worry about this cat, cause again, this this ain't for him. You know what I'm saying? Yada yada yada. The people that like it, they the ones that like it.
Yeah.
So that's but yeah, that was just a weird thing. But
Yep. We just keep it moving.
yep, that's all you can really do. You know. So I don't know. But yeah, man. Other than that, man, like I said, uh, indie popcon was. It's one of those things like like I said, I don't know if I would do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, it seemed like the money that was spent for everything, it just probably wasn't a move. You know,
Yeah.
but other stuff like, and I think that's what I'm gonna kind of do like in hindsight is just kind of reevaluate like where I'm looking at for certain places, like certain conventions, and being like, okay, be smart, be more smart and more economical about where you where we like I push the book. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's probably what's gonna happen. Like especially in the next year or so. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like I want to stick to like either really big cons or cons where I know like we make X amount of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
As
mean, literally, that's my MO for pretty much any con I go to. The
yeah.
reason why I'm going to what's it called, Heroes Con, is because what I hear about like the type of people that show up. Like these are the type of people who are looking to spend money, like
Mhm.
actual real bread, hard-earned bread on original artwork.
Right.
That is a dying, that is a dying cachet.
Mhm.
So, like even with what's it called, Emerald City. Literally, that's the reason why I went there in the beginning. because of that reason. Friends
Mhm.
told me, "Oh yeah, you need to check out Emerald City. It's like you would clean up there."
Right. So, yeah. I mean, that's it's pretty much kind of the move now, you know. 'Cause I think once I go, I'm a I which I probably should have did it now because it's May, but I meant to see if I could like right after C2E2 ended. I was like, oh, let me see if I can try to like do see if I can try to submit to New York. You know what I mean? And just all some real weird hope and a prayer type stuff, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So, you know, it's whatever. But
Yeah.
that just gets me like in line for stuff for like next year, um, and just like really being smart about like where I put my stuff next year. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know, man. Do not know. Mm. Alrighty. So let's go Krogering. Mm-mm-mm. Ooh. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
So it's funny. I was recently watching because I actually never started it and even finished it. I kind of started it, but then I stopped. But Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl.
Oh, word.
Um, yeah. So basically, because I've been like trying to show it to my nephew, who's basically only 4 months old, but like
Mm-hmm.
he's already starting to get really attentive to like screens and everything, and you could tell like he was like really like into it, and it was funny because like it just made me think about like so my sister, that's her son, her first child.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I remember the day back when and I even watched it too, but like the Proud Family, and that was like definitely like a fun spot for me to see my little sister like watching like a TV show that's centered around a black girl and kind of can see herself in.
Right.
And yeah, it just made me think like, oh yeah, like this another black centered, young adult TV show for the next generation. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously I've never read like the comics, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur
I,
comics, but
I haven't either, so I've just
it
only
looks
seen
interesting. It looks
yeah
very interesting.
I've only seen the characters in passing, so
Yeah.
I didn't really know. So, but yeah, I mean it's a fun little show, you know. Like I was watching it with my girl, like I think we had randomly checked it out or whatever, and it was just like just because like um, people like Lawrence Fishburne, he's like the Beyonder in it. You know what I'm saying? And so
I think he's also a producer on it as well.
yeah,
So that's
he's a
probably
producer on it.
another
So
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Which okay, so I don't even know if we bring this up, but it's like speaking of producers on shows, what's up with okay? Did you see the Good Times, or have you seen any of like the Good
I've
Times
seen
like
the
subs on
previews.
Netflix?
I've seen the previews of it, and it looks horrible. So
Steph Curry is a producer on that show,
yep.
and I'm like, okay, I have a lot of questions, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, why was this made? I think I kind of know why it was made, but in a very stupid jest of like, well, hey, listen, like, why can't we make like the trashy, Baby's Kids, Boondocks kind of like commentary? No, this is not the same thing. You're chasing for that. You are not at that level, and this is not hitting that. This ain't it.
Right.
Acting like it's like, well, it's subversive and funny. It's supposed to be like, yeah, it's bringing up all the stereotypes, but this is also like a deeper meaning. Like a lot of black sitcoms, like, nope, you haven't earned it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It.
And for me, I just kind of like, okay, I saw like probably like 3 episodes and then just kind of disregarded the rest. Just because like I didn't want to give it too much clout because obviously it could just end up like for people who really hated like Thelma or wait, was it Thelma? Is that the name of it? Yeah, the Minnie Kaling
Oh yeah.
animated. Yeah,
Velma.
Yeah, Thelma. You literally gave
Velma.
her a season two by talking about it and hate watching
Yeah.
it. So I was like, well, I can do that for this.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, that was the thing with that. Like, so I'm hoping that Netflix like pulls a plug on it. You know what I'm saying? Without even showing the second season. You know what I'm saying? They just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you know, this is
Oh, and another thing, I mean, I almost like this is almost par for the course because you know how he likes doing this stuff. But Seth MacFarlane was also a producer on it.
mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about, guys? I know how to do black people. Come on, it's a Cleveland show. Come on, guys. Come on. You
Yeah.
laugh, but that's the problem.
Yeah, it really is. It's like that is the terrible thing about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you know, Seth MacFarlane is he's got a questionable track record. So
Yeah.
you know, and I'm just kind of like, well, you know what? I we have to just kind of let that slide and let it be what it's gonna be. Because yeah, this is really not it. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I just it's weird, man. Like when I think about like uh you know like stuff like that because you really you have to ask a question like who really is this for? You know what I'm saying? Like because and then on top of that, what's crazy is you'll have like the producers like I forget what the producer's name was. She like tried to defend it. It was like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
hey, what's
It's
up,
like
Miles?
no, man.
It's like, what's going on, Miles? But no, like they'll be like, oh well, you know, it's we just feel like this is the way it'll work, and we feel like this is you know, this is a good this is something that's more edgy and more new for the next generation or whatever. And it's like no one thinks that, and no one wants this. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just like the whole thing about the Magical Negro movie. You know what I'm saying? It's
Which
like
I'm glad I have like peers who saw that for me, so I didn't have to see it.
yeah,
They just review it.
yeah. It's like no one wants this. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know who like said like yo this is gonna be it. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, when it flops, I love how these guys come out and they be like, "Well, it was too high concept for you all, and it was this, or it was, you guys just don't like animation." Apparently,
Oh,
like
you're talking about that? This shit about natural Negroes, like
no, Magical Negroes, they were just like
okay.
the Magical Negroes, they were just like, "Oh, it's too high concept for you." You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, it's not too high concept. It's actually a dumb concept, and you guys like basically made this like even worse. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
execution was
literally
horrible.
taking a term coined by one Spike Lee,
Hmm.
in like commentary over like literally started because like the Green Mile.
Right.
It's like, all right, get this big black dude. I was
Yeah.
gonna say the N-word, but like a
Yeah.
big black dude who solves your problems and who's literally just like it's in a sense he's a MacGuffin. He's nothing more than a plot device and a MacGuffin
Hmm.
for the white character to advance in this plot. That's literally where it comes from.
Yep. Yep. He's just, you
He has
know.
agency as much as there is to like the point where like, oh, before he gets executed and oh, tears are shed. It's like, oh, what a travesty.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter if like, in the end, the black person still dies, but it's like your tears are meant to move you
Yeah.
and propel you
I'll
forward.
never
Like doing what's
I'll never
justice.
forget you. You
Yeah,
were
exactly.
this, and I'll never forget you. Your sacrifice means everything to me. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
come on, man, get you out of here, bro. Like, nobody's here for that. You know what I mean? Nobody's here
Nobody's
for
there
that.
for that, but they're still gonna do it. And
Of course,
you know,
of
now
course.
imagine, now that we're on this subject, which man, I don't want to get in trouble, but man, oh man, like that whole thing that came out with like the new Assassin's Creed. Who am I for that? Hmm.
The funniest thing I've heard is the
It's
fact
like,
that like,
did we not forget that the Yasuke animated Netflix series? Y'all must have been blind to that, but oh, I guess because it's like getting into your game that you
right.
can't live without being in the sphere of knowledge of. Because
Right. Well,
yeah,
here's the funny thing about that is like I got into a conversation with somebody else online, and they were just like, I was like, well, I'm just mad that the samurai is a black guy. I was like, they said that in so many words, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
I almost would want to pause and say pause. Okay, cool.
It's
Can you
like,
elaborate
okay,
on that
all right,
specifically?
cool. It's like, he's like, but where's the Japanese representation? I was like, there's a woman that's in the game that's also a main character who is Japanese, who is a ninja, who is more
Yeah.
of an assassin than the samurai. Do you? It's like, well, she's not a samurai. I wanted to play as a samurai. Then play Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you get your Japanese samurai guy there. You know. So what do you want? You know what I'm saying? And like, it's just a running joke that like the Japanese woman that's a ninja is so good at being a ninja that she's not even in the conversation. She's not even in the marketing. You know what I'm saying? It's
Because
like,
she's a ninja.
yeah, she's a ninja. She's literally the best ninja in history. You know what I'm saying? For a game that's starring her, people don't even realize that she exists in it. You know, it's like, wow, that's something. So yeah, it's just absolutely hilarious. But again, they're very
Yeah, I
good
made a
for.
comment, but I don't even know if I want to get into it because like it was actually probably like the first time and maybe only time we'll see of a comment that I ever like responded to on a post that's not mine publicly that people can see that I got over like, and this is nothing really, but like over like 70 likes on,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh snap, I don't need too much attention, but yeah, I said what I said on that post.
Right.
And it's the reason why I'm not watching shows like Shogun anyway. But yeah, overall, like I think this is how it's gonna be, and I'm at a point where it's like, okay, well, we'll just still keep bringing it up.
Right. Mm.
On another kind of different topic, Gargoyles. You've
Yeah.
watched that show before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Gargoyles is
How do you?
incredible.
Yeah. I guess it's on another subject, but at the same time, kind of in the same neighborhood, somewhat of what we were just talking about. But as far as like race and casting, so here's the thing: we all know that like the great Keith David himself voiced Goliath, and just like you know, for some reason, like Hollywood goes out of the way. It's like we need an imposing, strong, deep voice. Who did
Mm-hmm.
they get? They get the black guy.
Right.
Vader, James Earl Jones, Kratos. I'm forgetting both the black men who voices voiced in both series, and then yeah, Goliath is Keith David. But I just remember as a kid, even I was like kind of perplexed, and I don't know if it was necessarily annoyed, but there was an episode where like and I don't know how much you've watched this show, but like if you remember this, but there was an episode where like I think it was kind of like a Beauty and the Beast type of thing, where it's like there was some like magic going on. Well, there's magic always going on in that show, but there was some magic going on where Goliath basically got transformed into a human in the experience of would it be like human for like a day or two, and obviously being with like Elisa, his love, whatever, but like as a regular person, and he's transformed as this white guy, and I'm like, interesting.
Yeah. I I do remember. I think I do remember that. Are you talking about the live action Beauty and the Beast show?
No, 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 gargoyles.
Oh, in Gargoyles. Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah.
was sorry. My bad.
My bad.
I
I'm
kind of
tripping.
got lost in the weeds with that analogy, but just like that, like theme, kind of like of the
Yeah.
whole, like oh, like I can't love a monster. I mean, she obviously loves him the way he is, but like in the show, it's like you wonder like what would it be like if I was human. I would probably have you. I could be with Elisa like the way that normal people would be. But yeah, this wish gets granted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I don't know, man. I did see that. Like, I think I vaguely remember that episode. It was
Yeah, I
a
just remember it was just weird. It's like, listen, I know there's like the Josh Brolins out there and other like white men with deep voice, but there's like a specific timbre and kind of like refinedness to most black men's voice.
Mhm.
Like,
But I guess they
we
took it
doing
as
here?
I guess they took it as well. We can't have um that particular guy. We can't have this particular character who their people were all from like Scotland. Was the gargoyles like weren't they like taken from Scotland or something like that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And herein lies my thing. So you're saying that a fantasy desire of Goliath wanting to turn into a human automatically rules him out as like being able to be a black man because there's obviously because with that logic there is race already baked into these gargoyles.
Right.
That's where that's where that slippery slope begins.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who don't want to get on that, and I'm like, okay,
No,
whatever.
they don't.
Yeah. Because now, especially that we're like, in the 2000s, like people were like, upset and frustrated with like, the allowance of like, minorities on like rings of power and everything. It's like, well, you can't have that argument because there are black folk in Scotland, so
Right.
with Scottish accents,
Yeah. It's
which I'm not gonna lie, for me at first it's kind of weird. It's like yeah, that's the truth. I can't deny that. That's the truth. I have to respect that. And y'all got to deal with it. It was like, no, it needs to be Europeans.
like it really doesn't. It's just like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
but yeah, people get weird about that. Like, but like I said, it's freaking fantasy, you know,
Yeah.
and like people want to talk about like you know historical accuracy in Assassin's Creed. No one plays Assassin's Creed for historical accuracy.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like
Matter of
sometimes.
fact, that was kind of the weird thing that kind of almost like took me out for a little bit. It's like, I don't care if it's historical or not. I just want to play it. I just want to be an assassin. I literally listen. For me, I see Assassin's Creed as the continuation of the second Prince of Persia game. That one pose with the kind of like shrouded figure. That's literally saying, let's do that because apparently, sorry, I'm just salty still about that. Like Prince of Persia should have been a bigger franchise than Assassin's Creed, but it wasn't. Anyway, and yeah, that's the carryover from that. Like that whole shrouded mystique. That literally is like the selling image point of Assassin's Creed. The hooded figure with the blade
Hmm.
running on a wall.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing.
Yeah. Although I will admit the Egyptian one was pretty fun. I never played like the I want to say the Greek one or the Roman one. I really wanted to play that.
Yeah, Valhalla was one that I kind of was like sort of interested in, but I don't know. I just kind of like
Yeah.
I think I bought it for a friend of mine, and like they played it and they loved the hell out of it, but I never got to like actually play it. So
Yeah. At the time, I was literally thinking more about forget Valhalla. I'm focused on God of War, which is funny because there literally is now a DLC called Valhalla for God of War.
yeah, I mean that's yeah, the DLC for Valhalla, or well, not the DLC for Valhalla, but the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, man. Like I said, I heard a lot of good things about it. And I mean, like they're always quality games. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't really get around to playing them a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you
there's a
know,
lot of like and it's very similar to like Breath of the Wild type of like a lot of traversing repetitive like loot boxing and upgrading that for me sometimes, especially as I'm getting older and busier, I don't got enough time for, and
hmm
sometimes it can kind of get repetitive. Because even when I played, I'm forgetting the name of I think it was Origins, the Egyptian one.
hmm
I literally was like, kind of bored now. Like I just want to get to the next plot point.
right. It is just like hit
Because they
the
don't do a good enough job, in my opinion, compared to like some like open world, RPGs where it's like these extra side missions. They literally have a lot more in depth like gains that for you to do them. Like I want that incentive. Like I want to do this because I'm going to get something great. That
right.
reward system needs to be greater for me to invest on these side missions.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. So because yeah, I definitely feel that. Like there's so many like I think that's kind of been a thing for me like as of late where I was just like, man, I don't. Some of these missions, some of these side missions, I'd be like, hey, I'm not trying to do all this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Where it's like, oh, get such and such to get your these vantage points. Get these 4 vantage points. Then get the feather here, and then get this, and it's like, man, you know what? I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, I gotta look this up again, but I remember like, you ever have those moments when it's like back in the day when you play games and there's like certain power-ups, whatever that is, like it is not obvious or not evident that like you're supposed to get this, but it's like kind of like almost like an Easter, not even Easter egg, but like just like a little surprise thing. It's like if you get it, hey, you got some really good stuff going on. Like you got like a premium weapon that like we didn't really put out there for people to know or get. And if you don't get it, it's fine. It doesn't
Mhm.
affect the game. Anyway, I just remember like in Prince of Persia, Warriors Within. It's like the oh no, not Warrior Within. Uh, yeah, no, Warrior Within. That was the second one, the one where it got dark and edgy. Because I remember it literally went from like the very Persian kind of like you know uh, Mediterranean theme, whatever, and is very mystical, and then I got it's like I was like, whoa, it's like switched up quick. But anyway, I just loved it because it definitely had like that dark tone to it. But what I really enjoyed about it, there was like this dark dungeon that I was actually kind of like afraid of getting. Is like there's really some like hard enemies out around this point, and I was in this area that I thought I was stuck in for a little bit. But then I noticed like this object, and I can't understand what it was because like the graphics back then, like it wasn't like super well refined, but it was still good enough. But basically, it looked like this like golden teddy bear like on a stick type of weapon. It was really weird. What I found out is as I used it, every time I hit an enemy with it, I
Mhm.
gained sand back, and sand was basically like the stuff you needed to like fill up your meter to like basically rewind time and all that stuff. And to some degree, it helped restore health. So basically, I basically had a weapon. So that was like my secondary weapon. I had a secondary weapon that literally gave me unlimited sand
Yeah.
just from that one object. It's like, what? And I, to this day, I was like, was that like a glitch or was that like something like a developer just put in there? It's like, it'd be really cool if someone just stumbled upon this because like, that's something that's like really cool. They're like, again, it's not like they were like telemarketing or they were telegraphing. It's like, yo, you need to find this. Like, this is a weapon you need. Like, if you're like playing like, Zelda, it's like, okay, you need to get this specific sword. This shield is a shield that you're gonna need up against like this main boss. No,
Mhm.
this guy was just like lying in like the ditch of like the sewer area in a place that I stumbled on that I thought I was gonna get stuck in.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I always liked those little hidden weapons like that, or if you just figure out like an exploit with them, like.
Exactly, it just makes it a little more fun. It's like you kind
Mhm.
of almost like customize your game experience.
Mhm. Yeah, that just makes me think of this super old game called Gunstar Heroes, and Gunstar Heroes had a they had a system with the because it was a run and gun shooter game from like the Nintendo or not Nintendo but the Sega Genesis days, but like
Yeah.
basically this little game they had like it was different shots you can get with these games, and one of these games or one of these guns was like this gun where it was just basically a little pea shooter gun, but all the bullets chased. You know what I'm saying? Like you can they
Oh,
like
you mean like almost like they had a
yeah they chase
magnetic
yeah
field
so it
where
was
it's
like
like you
all
just
the bullets
gravitate?
yeah so like basically all the bullets would like chase like the enemies. You know what I'm saying? So you can
Nice.
just fire the bullets and then they would go find the enemies. So
So it's basically like the needler in from what's it called? Halo,
yeah
the needle gun.
yeah
Yeah.
it's basically that, but like the thing about this though was you can combine that with like any of the other different guns. So the other gun that they had was a laser gun. You know what I'm saying? And the laser gun was just a big bull. It was just like just your standard laser. It was like, hey, here's this laser shot that would go everywhere. And then sometimes like if you depending on how you had it, like if you just only had one laser shot, then like you could use it in a sense where you're almost using it like kind of as a lightsaber, to
Yeah.
like just kind of make a force field around yourself. But if you combine a chaser gun and a laser gun, what you had was this chaser laser, and you can just basically hold down the fire button, and if you have the moving shot, you could just run and like basically the lasers were so fast that they would just pretty much like kill everything on the screen and just dart everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
you didn't have to aim at anything. And it was like it was like the most broken gun, like the most broken combination you could have. Like once I
That
had that,
sounds like Yondu's whistling weapon. It's
yeah,
like, wait, so this thing can go through anything?
yeah, and it's really
Literally
what it
anything?
was.
It's like,
It's really what it was because it wasn't like it's gonna hit one thing. It stays there until the object is dead. You know what I'm saying? And so
That's broken.
he
Yeah.
was like, "This thing is completely broken." I was like, "Oh, but I'm gonna keep this." Like, and so every playthrough on Gunstar Heroes, which I think I should get like an emulator and play that shit.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, there's kind of like a I don't know what it was, but like the era when like cheating became so fun and like addictive. Like, around like, a little after Game Shark and like, playing like the games like GoldenEye, you put in like the passcodes and all that. Like it just felt good to be able to like skip this, skip this. I want to get to the juicy part. I want to be able to have all the power. I want unlimited ammo. I'm not gonna put on God mode, but I want unlimited ammo because I just want to be able to like have fun, just like blasting and smashing.
mm-hmm.
And I get that, but it's crazy how like literally at one point there became a market for like, all right, so here's your Game Shark right here. Get all the latest cheat codes for the PlayStation. It's like
Yeah.
get invisibility, get infinite health, get immortality, get unlock every weapon, get max HP. And what's funny though, in some games, like you remember Pokemon? You
Yep.
remember when like we thought we were all so slick and smooth, like doing like the rare. I don't know if you did this. You played Pokemon, right? Red
I
and
played
Blue.
only red and blue, so
Okay, so do you remember like there was like a hack within the game where you could like, well, there was two hacks. One, you can get like the missing go like a Pokemon virus that basically would mess up your Game Boy. I
yeah.
only had it happen once, but I was like so like, yeah, I like this. I have this character, just because like the fact that it felt like so cool to like get this hack. But
Mm-hmm.
then two, you can multiply items, and the biggest thing that people did was like duplicate the rare candy, which like level up your Pokemon without XP points.
Yeah.
But they made it so like in the game it's like, okay, you're gonna do this thing. Guess what? You're gonna have to deal with the consequences of having no experience points. So you can have like a level 100 Blastoise go against like level 20 Charmeleon.
Mm-hmm.
Charmeleon will wipe the floor with that Blastoise because the XP points are through the roof, like compared
mm-hmm.
to the Blastoise. I'm like, yo, what the heck?
Yep.
I found out the hard way, and I just felt humble. It's like they just baked it in the game. It's like, all right, kid, you can do this, but
Mm-hmm.
there's consequences.
Results may vary.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's I mean, but I definitely always liked stuff like that. Stuff like that was like pretty freaking cool. Um, so I don't know. But also, quick question: how long did you want to go tonight? Like,
I don't know.
because it's like eight
Uh,
fifteen now. I don't know if you I can kick it for another hour if you want. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you.
Let's try and play
we can go another 30 minutes and
That's
see
cool.
how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all good.
Oh, speaking of which, like, I don't know, like, do you remember like when we were at like Chicago and I was like, we were like playing a couple of music there or whatever, jamming out and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you remember like I think I told you about this one band called Justice?
I vaguely remember him.
Okay, they just released like another album. Like it's pretty sick. Like if you get a chance, like go on YouTube and check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Hyperdrama. But
Okay.
like what I love about like their band, even though they've only had like 4 albums like thus far to date, every single album like the cover art is basically a cross, like a like a crucifixion cross, but like in a three-point perspective, like going up.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks sick, but then every like album cover they have like different designs for it. And this
Okay.
new one, like it looks really sick. I'm like, ooh, like it's making me think about like if I would get established enough where I have my own house and everything, like, and I got to the point where I wanted to feel like a little bougie, and I had like started collecting vinyls. 'Cause I don't collect vinyls, but it's like in the last guy's household that I used to live in back when I was in Minnesota, like one of my roommates, he was like a big collector of like vinyls. And he had like obviously like vinyls of like even like more current like stuff. Like that's the cool thing about him now is like you can get it of like a Miguel. You can get like a vinyl record of his stuff, or you can get like a Drake album. I don't know why you want now, but it's like
Yeah, I don't know.
a Drake album on vinyl. It's like yeah, and I thought it was really cool. It's like okay, well maybe I should because like I think about there's certain records or certain albums that like I just listen to like regardless. Sometimes I'll repeat if it just comes in my head. I want to listen to this again. Like I think about like one of my favorite Roots albums, mostly because like majority, I think almost 100 to 90% of like the album I'll listen to without a skip.
Okay.
And that one it's between Illadelph Half Life and How I Got Over.
Word.
Yeah, those are my two top Roots albums. Like completely, I can just listen to like without a skip.
Yeah, I mean, Illadelph Half Life is that's such a classic.
It
It's just
is.
like, man, that's an album that like a lot of people don't they
They
don't
just
talk
sleep
about.
on, and
Yeah.
especially younger folk. It's like they just, it's like hip hop today.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm already sounding like it, but whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
like
like, man, it's like you can just talk about bars. It's like, oh, it's like there's literally. It's funny. Like I don't know how it came up, but I was literally like playing some music, and I was just playing like because I was like, oh yeah, pull up some Black Thought, and then like it got onto like a playlist that I guess somebody else made. It was conscious, and there was so many other artists on there. Man, they had like a couple songs from like Common, Pusha T, different people. I was like, I like this. I
oh
like
word.
this, man. If only we could take back the word conscious. If only we could do some corrective damage. But it is long gone, baby. It is
Yeah,
done.
yeah, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
So
What will they take next?
right, that ship is long sailed. It's like okay, you ain't talking about killing. Okay, you're automatically a conscious rapper. Like what? Like you know what I'm saying?
Well, not even that. No, I'm talking about like how the reappropriation of like the term.
Oh yeah.
Now, I will say, as much as like I don't care for a lot of Cat Williams' stand up, I checked out his latest one just to see what it's like. In my opinion, it ain't that good. But there was a couple points that was fun. One of the joke he said like, I don't understand what people's problems with the word conscious is. Last time I like they act like it's a bad thing. Last
Hmm.
time I checked, conscious was the opposite of sleep.
Right.
It's to be awake.
Right.
Oh no, not conscious. Woke. Sorry, woke was the term.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like now you have to say like, if you want to say woke, you can't say
I might as well
woke.
say conscious. Like we've been so removed from like
Yeah.
conscious that I might as well double back. It's like, yeah, I'm about that conscious rap. It's like
Yeah.
what?
But like you can't even. But like even just the whole woke thing now is just like because it's been like you said it's been so appropriated. It's just like damn, you can't
Yeah,
even
to the
say
point where
like
it's like literally gives like non POC hives. It's just like
yeah.
go woke, go broke, all that stuff, and like
Yeah, it's just like this funny because like you know 10 years ago because you can only say it was about 10 years ago. Um,
exactly.
you know, you had the whole thing of a character or somebody saying something that was woke. It was just like, oh snap, it's this. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah,
just,
especially when
you had
it's
like,
to the point where you literally have people complaining about like female led character in movies, whatever. It's like, and
hmm
especially when it comes to action movies and franchises, and I'm always like in agreement when I see this posted, but like I'm like, yo, so we're still so, okay. So you're saying we literally are gonna forget and not talk about Ridley from Aliens? We're not gonna
right,
talk about Laura Croft. We're not gonna talk about Kill Bill. What's going on here? What are we doing?
yeah. So yeah, it's always stuff like that. Like
But that was
well,
before people got like real attached and felt empowered on Twitter. Once Twitter came, it's like okay, now I can really layer it out, give my
hmm
grievances, and get a dig on everybody. Because back then, the internet wasn't like that.
yeah. But that's the thing. The power of the internet is that everyone has a voice. But it's also
Yeah,
the power. The worst part about the internet is everyone has a voice.
everyone has a voice. Yeah,
You know, and so now it becomes this thing where if you're not doing a certain thing or you're not like you know within line with something, people feel like there's a reason we got to attack you because you're not doing XYZ. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
you know and so yeah, it becomes a thing. I mean, I'm on one hand, I'm like always like, hey, I'm happy that like certain people, you know, are being called to the carpet because they should be, you know. But in the same respect, like there's other things where I'm like, yo, what are we doing here? You know, it's just like, I don't know. It's a big freaking issue, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, yeah. But all I can do is just like, and I don't know, man. Like luckily I haven't had you know, I haven't gotten into too many debates. The Yasuke thing was just a new thing that was interesting to me, and just one of the guys that I go way back with. Man, look, without like going into his whole history of who he is, um, he was just very apologetic to these people who were complaining. It's like, well, you just have to understand their side. It's like, what is there to understand? Like, you know what I mean?
No, actually, I'm actually at the point. Is like, no, I do want to understand. Explain.
Like, it was like,
And I want to hear the explanations. And I'm
mhm,
not saying like I'm gonna shoot him down automatically, but I do want to hear like how you legit are like reasoning through this, especially when it comes to like the irritate. Because there's the thing, if you're irritated about something, that's fine. I get it. There's things I'm irritated about, but the fact that you need to voice it out there is one thing. But also two, to like disavow, it's like, okay, this is not. Well, first of all, just going on the fact that like the historical accuracy that it irritates them. Okay, so but it is actually historically accurate.
right.
Okay, but like why is there gotta why they? Oh, goodness, like there was this I'm not gonna name the artist, but like on his like uh profile or page, there was like a guy, a white guy, who basically commented on this piece that he did. Basically, he did, and this is way before like the Mutant Academy all black X-Men team
Mhm.
storyline came out, whatever. This was years before that, but he did like a, oh man, what if I did an X-Men team? And he didn't even, there was no hashtags about like black X-Men, black comic book characters, uh, black is beautiful or black is back, whatever, everything that like every non-POC like hates like seeing hashtags.
Right.
But anyway, there was a couple I like scrolling through, and then you see obviously there's got to be one of them a comment of this guy's like, yeah, I love the artwork, but I just have a problem. It's like, why does it have to be like a black team? Like, I just feel like it should be like it shouldn't focus on race. And then, oh my goodness, he got ate alive in the comments by other people, not the poster himself, but other
Mhm.
people. Was like, so you're saying that there has to be at least one white person on there? It's like it can't be a team that's fully black. Well, what about the teams that have white people? It's like you say, well, that happened, a while ago, so that's like back then. But going forward, we shouldn't be blah blah blah. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, it was
ooh,
like,
buddy.
it's like, yeah, yeah, they walked right into that one.
Yeah, and then like he got like like Drake. It's like, all right, I'm out. I'm tired of this. I'm moving on. I'm gonna go on vacation. It's like, oh, so you lost. You give up.
Right.
Which I'm not in the game of like I'm not trying to say that like people need to have like debates and fight it out like to really like prove who's on top because I really do hate that honestly. I hate like
Mhm.
the feeling that like you need to like cream somebody like in a debate or in an argument like that just obviously goes to like the detriment of like what we're trying to do is obviously unity.
Mhm.
But when you're saying stuff like that, it just seems so unhinged and so uninformed. It's like I almost want to play good cop and just say, hey, I want to, have these conversations. Do you trust me? No, I want to play the nice black that you can trust because I know like
I w-
some other friends like
let
they will
let me
tear
just
you
let me just be
alive.
one of the good ones real quick.
Let me just but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But I'm gonna come to you in the way that you want that comfort and you don't want to feel the guilt.
Mhm.
You cannot be charged with any guilt. It just cannot touch your doorstep. It cannot touch your life. There's no way. I'm not going to be inconvenienced by that. But no, let's have that conversation. I would love to have that conversation to like, and not even like again. It's like okay, well, I'm just gonna like muscle you down to. That sounded weird, but like just like try to out muscle you when it comes to like a debate. No, I'm just trying to like genuinely like establish like how have you gotten to the like how have you arrived to this thought process and if you're open to it, to talk and discuss like why, and I'm not saying I can speak for all people from like the culture of POCs and black, but it's like, where we're coming from or why this is a specific thing, giving receipts of
Right.
like, history and culture. Because I think that would be a great thing for us to really have. Like, I honestly do want to have like kind of a unified way of like talking through difficult subjects and
Yeah.
quite frankly, very dividing and frustrating subjects.
Yeah. And but the unfortunate thing too, and this is just what I always realize is that some people are just like not willing to listen,
I just
and that's
feel
just
like you were
that's
gonna literally quote like The Dark Knight. It's like some men just want to watch the world burn.
yeah, no.
It's like
Yeah, but like, and that's
I know.
and that's one of the more frustrating things about it. Is like you're gonna have people who are just not willing to listen to, hey,
Yeah.
maybe this is a different this is a different take on what we're experiencing or whatever, and this is a different way to look at it. Like, but they won't see that, and because they won't see it because of their upbringing or whatever. And sometimes,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, sometimes you got some people who just because of their upbringing, they stick their foot in their mouths, and it's just like, there's enough information out here to where you don't have to stick your foot in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say, hey, here's this person. Like I'll be watching pro wrestling, like, and there was there's this wrestler, this woman, Jade Cargill. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, no longer. What up, man? Just joined.
But like Jade Cargill was like in an interview or something along those lines, and she was just talking about like, hey, this is why I went to this league or went to WWE and all this other stuff. And then somebody in the comments was just like, she's very articulate. I was just like, oh my God, are you serious?
Okay.
Like, are you?
Here's the funny thing. I've gotten that when I was younger as a kid. And
Yeah, but
obviously,
it's like,
until I was like
but
an
first of
adult
all, she's a,
to really understand what that means. Like, oh, he's well spoken.
Yeah, it's like, well, also she's a grown woman, and also she has a master's degree. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, come on, like, are we really doing this right now? It's like, oh
Yeah.
man. But yeah, it happens, and it's one of those things that just like, ugh, kind of makes you sad. Like, oh man, you guys are doing that. All right.
Yeah,
Tell
come
me how
on,
that-
guys. We're doing so great.
Like,
We're
tell me
doing
how that
good for a
turns
little
out.
bit.
Yeah. Oh snap, Cameron. Like, if you post like the video of that, like, cause Cameron just like finished putting the finishing touches on Shannon and Zakaya. First of all, I just want to see their pictures, cause I would end up posting them on the page. But second of all, like, I just like, I'm curious as to see what you gave them for their finisher. So if you ever post that video on your stuff, just let me know, man. Like, I'll put it on my stories. So
Finish him.
right, yeah. So
Wait, I wonder, does he know about like the formless state and stuff Shannon can do?
I mean, he's read all the
That'd be
books.
dope. Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he's read all the books. So yeah, but yeah, I'm very interested in seeing that. I'm always interested in seeing like a lot of any type of fan creations of anything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about stuff like that. You know what I mean? So because it just lets me know like, oh snap, this is like resonating with people. So
Mm-hmm.
it just makes me happy. So yeah, I'm always for it. So that'll definitely be the thing. But yeah, let's see here. No, let's do precision shot. Bam. Covering fire. Bam, there we go. You said that was page 16 that you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so that's like basically 9 more pages to go. Oh, man. Super freaking excited. Oh yeah. Hey, Cameron, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. So, but yeah, I don't know. The day has been mostly chill though. Other than this, like, I got to train a little bit. So got to do some sparring, and I was like, apparently some guys from my gym fought last night, but it was just bad nights. One of them, which is a homie of mine, like, both of them are homies, but like one of the guys, man, like I'm embarrassed for him, but I'm like, this is just a massive oversight. So what ended up happening? Long story short, this
Another
guy.
two got knocked out.
No, he didn't get knocked out. That's the thing. He didn't get knocked out. Like, but he lost in the first round and he didn't get subbed. Well, this is what happened. Basically, like this was his first MMA fight. He's done a bunch of kickboxing fights and he's fought with like shin guards. And so, since it was his first amateur MMA fight, he decided to kick this guy and like the guy like he did a leg kick on the guy and the guy checked his kick. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, he basically was like, holy shit, like, and obviously, like, I don't know if you've ever like had if you attempted a leg kick and had it checked, but basically, like, you know, to get a leg kick checked is freaking horrible. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of build up your tolerance for that. But
So for the kids
for
at home,
for the
leg
kids at
kick
home
means
who
what again? Yeah.
so when you get a leg when you throw a leg kick, the way you stop a leg kick is you check it, and how you check it is basically you would lift up your leg, like, you know, whatever leg they're kicking, you would lift up that leg, and just like kind of angle your shin out. You know what I'm saying? Angle your shin out towards the kick. So basically, what ends up happening is when they kick your leg, they kick like it's basically shin on shin contact. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's gonna hurt you, but it's gonna hurt them a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna give them it's gonna make them kind of deterred from kicking your leg. And then on top of that, if you want to really be mean, and you want to stop a leg kick, then what you would do is do something along the lines of pointing your knee down. You know what I'm saying? Like you would lift your leg up and point your knee down, and you know, if they end up like kicking your knee, pretty much like the area between your shin and like your foot, like if that ends up getting kicked or like just roughly in that area, you know what I'm saying? Like if you end up like hitting like a kneecap on that, like that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. And if you really wang your kick, there's a high probability you'll end up like Anderson Silva, you know what I'm saying, or like, you know, Chris Weidman. So like if you ever seen anything about their horrific injuries, that's what happened. You know, basically they threw a leg kick, and which is funny because Anderson Silva did it to Chris Weidman, and it shattered his shin. You know what I'm saying? To where his like leg was kind of like hanging off. It was kind of like flopping off. But then like years later, Chris Weidman did it to another guy, and the same thing happened to him, and his leg was just kind of like flopping off, and like, you know, it was a horrible injury. Anyway, that's like the worst case scenario. But, you know, the best case scenario is just like you get hit, it freaking hurts, and it deters you from throwing it again. Anyway, back to our friend. What happened?
Yeah, so lesson learned. Uncle Fred will be explaining in Naruto form of like, you know, whenever you have a technique or something that in layman's terms people don't know,
yeah,
Uncle Fred will be explaining it. So thank you.
Yeah. So, but no, like, so he gets his leg kicked, and or he gets his leg kick checked, and the dude checks his first kick, and then he's like, okay, cool, I'm all right. He backs up and circles around, and then like he throws another leg kick again, and the guy checks his second kick, and I guess the kick was so hard, or like the check was so hard that basically Parker just went on the ground and like just tapped, and he didn't throw a punch. The other guy didn't throw a punch. He was just like, dude, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because he's had several kickboxing fights, but this is the first time he's ever kicked somebody without shins, without like shin guards. And so this was an excruciating pain that he was just not ready for, you know? And yeah, it was bad. And so that was just kind of an unfortunate thing. I was like, damn, you know? So, you know, and
I told you, Rock. I told you weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
this
no.
guy's a bulldozer.
Yeah, but no, like it was just crazy because, you know, he had been hyping like, man, I'm about to go fight. I'm about to do this. whoop de whoop, and we gonna have all this success and whatnot, and we all behind him. You know what I'm saying? Because he comes in, he trains his ass off and stuff like that. But apparently he just was never used. He never like went through that experience, and like he just kind of like
He had a plan, but he got punched in the face.
yeah. Yeah, he never went through that experience, and then like that was it. Speaking of that Mike Tyson quote,
Yeah,
um,
it's like
yeah. Side note, I saw him and Jake Paul are supposed to fight in
you think
July.
Jake is gonna back out? You
No,
think
Jake is
gonna
gonna
back
fight
out?
him. They're gonna have their fight. But
All right.
here's the thing that's more interesting is they had a somebody asked the $64,000 question, and Jake dodged it with such fervor and such tact. So basically, they asked the question like, "Look, all right, Jake. So you said you want to be taken serious as a champion, and you want to be a legitimate boxing champion. This, and this. When are you gonna stop doing gimmick fights and fight somebody in your actual weight class that's an actual contender?" And Jake pivoted, and he was like,
When he started asking dumb questions.
he was like, you think Mike Tyson's a gimmick fight? Like Mike Tyson's a legitimate boxer. Like, what do you
Okay.
think? Like, and he's like, well, Mike Tyson's about to be 60. You know what I'm saying? He's like 2 years away from being 60. When they step into the cage, he's gonna be 58. It's like, were you
Yeah.
calling him a gimmick? Like, Mike, they're calling you a gimmick. Like, and then he just turned the question on Mike, and Mike was like, what are you saying about me? Blah 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 blah. It's like,
Yeah, get that
oh
heat off of you.
man, damn, y'all just avoided the question so succinctly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was wild. That was absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that is a definite thing. You know what I mean? Like, but I also looked up the guys that he would have to fight for belts, and their records are obviously better than his because they're all under like both of those guys that would be in his weight class in like the different boxing organizations. They're all undefeated, but they don't have names. Like they don't have names at all. They don't have like any type of recognizable names like where I don't think they've
So they
fought.
would literally take all of like Logan Paul's. Oh wait, sorry, Jake. Wait, was it Jake or Logan?
It's,
was
it's
fighting?
Jake Paul. Because
Jake,
Logan,
okay,
Logan
they would
Paul is
take,
doing
like,
pro wrestling, but Jake Paul,
Yeah.
Jake Paul, it would basically like
Take
it's
his lunch money basically.
yeah, they would, and it's more detrimental for Jake Paul to fight those guys than it is for him to like keep fighting these
Gimmicks.
these gimmick guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Mike Tyson is it. Like, unless you end up fighting finding another like ex MMA fighter, which apparently he's been locked out of that. So that's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like, because they've pretty much kind of gotten to the point where like the guys that he would fight, the Nick Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, I don't think he'd fight Mike Perry. But like those guys that he would fight, like they are, they have this kind of weird thing where it's just like I think the UFC has made sure like, hey, we'll get you another fight in the UFC, just don't ever fight Jake Paul in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Type
Yeah.
deal.
Almost kind of this bro code. It's like there's like a
Yeah.
specific brand like we're trying to like foster and
Yeah.
maintain.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
hey, listen, I can kind of respect it.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like they feel like, well, your stock would plummet if you end up losing to him, and then if we bring you
Yeah.
back to MMA, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it just looks bad. So don't take a fight from him. I don't care what type of money he promising you. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's at least that's my assessment on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I could be wrong. But I think that stuff like that is just very interesting. How people are very conspiratorial and making sure certain people don't get the rub, But Jake Paul is like he's ending the line, you know what I'm saying? Because if like after he fights Mike Tyson, like I honestly don't know who he can like legitimately try to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know who he can legitimately try to fight that's like even another name out there. You know what I'm saying? Because like he's not gonna fight like a Canelo. He's not gonna fight. He's definitely not gonna fight a Conor McGregor.
Canelo even when I don't even know if he would care to fight.
No, Canelo wouldn't. Canelo doesn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how
Like,
old is he now? Because like he's like what, like in his like upper 30s now?
yeah, Canelo is. I want to say he's like in his
Or
late
maybe
30s, but
34 or 35.
yeah, he's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Let me look and see.
Somewhere.
Uh, he's 33.
Okay. All right. So
So yeah, but yeah, like Canelo ain't about to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely not the move for him. So you know, yeah, that's definitely a waste of his time and a waste of money. I mean, because all he'd do is basically like he'd go out there and finish him in like pretty much the first round, and that'd be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like so, Jake Paul needs fights that he can make exciting, and like Canelo's not gonna make that fight exciting for him.
Yeah. No, he's like get in, get out. Like
Yeah.
not worth my time. You're already irritating.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Oh, also, side note, going back to X Men though, there is a X Men fan film that has came out, and it's like Wolverine, but it's just like it's basically
Oh, is that the one
Wolverine,
that's like from
but
the
it's he's a Viking. You know what I'm
Viking?
saying?
Yeah. So yeah, I saw that, and I actually bookmarked it. I was gonna come back and watch it.
Yeah, it's not bad, man. It's definitely
Yeah.
not bad. I was like,
I
I
literally saw it as like Wolverine, meets God of War.
yeah, yeah. It really is pretty much that.
But yeah,
So
I'm gonna just check it out because like I was like, it looks good.
yeah. So like the choreography is good, the effects are good, um, you know, and yeah, yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. I was impressed by it. Like, and it's funny because you got to do these if you want to do fan films now, you got to do them so under the radar, like that nobody can like stop you once they're out. Like you can't kickstart fan films anymore. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So, you know, it's a thing. But
it is. It absolutely is.
yeah. But anyway, we probably about to hit that 30-minute mark. So
Yeah, we
you
can.
wanna
Yeah, we can end it actually.
you wanna lock it up, man? I'm
Yes,
gonna talk
sir.
to you. I'm gonna talk to you more, I guess, offline about like figuring out what we can do on a schedule to get this like our schedules jumping back up again. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and we'll see how we can work it. So, but yeah, it's good getting the feet wet again. Now I got the IG set up where I think I can have it. So I think we could be solid here. I can start like kind of doing more active stuff on those. So, but yeah, man, appreciate you, bro. And everybody again, check out either me on Twitch if you're watching on Instagram, twitch.tv/JUI brand. And then on top of that, like, if you're watching on or if you're watching on Twitch, check me out. I like Instagram.com/Scrap Comic Official or at Scrap Comic Official on Instagram stuff. Yeah, so that's basically it. We are very close to having issue 6 done. I'm super excited. I'm hoping we have it out before the end of next month. And yeah, I'm pumped. So yeah, but